Justin Baldoni's voice message to Blake Lively, it just gives me the ick. I can't really put my finger on exactly what about it just seems very off. It seems very manipulative, the way he talks, and maybe I'm just not used to a man talking like that. I don't know. And then I can't get over the messages with his PR team about literally saying we are going to wreck her image and tear her down, and it's exactly what's happening. And maybe I'm wrong, but something just doesn't seem right with him.
Justin Baldoni sounds like that for free. He sounds like a serial killer. Sometimes I do think being straight is a mental illness, because what the fuck? That was an insane thing to do. If a man sent me that voice note, oh my god, I would call the police immediately. Restraining order. Done. That's the fucking creepiest thing I have ever fucking heard in my entire life. Fuck everything else. He should go to prison just for that voice note. That is genuinely terrifying. Like, it sounds like a voicemail that a fucking serial killer would leave. Also, when he's like, I'm so sorry. That man is not sorry. You can hear it in his voice. He is not sorry. Genuinely, what is wrong with you people? Like, I think, like, you really need therapy. I think that you're a little bit disturbed. That is incredibly just, like, unsettling. And the fact that some of you are, like, sexualizing it, I, like, literally don't even know what to say. Like, that and the voice note where he was complaining about being put in the basement. Yeah, people who sexually harass the cast should be put in the basement! Go to therapy. Talk to a professional, please.
I think the worst part about the Justin Baldoni voice note is that because so many of you are biased in his favor, you're in denial about how fucking weird it is and how creepy it is. If I received that voice note from my coworker, I would block them, like, immediately. Like, we're not doing this. Whatever it is you're doing, it's weird. I am just kind of at a loss because any sort of sincerity that could have come from that voice note just went out of the window, because there are so many instances where he could have just, like, first of all, not released this because there's no reason for us to know, but also there were so many instances where he would say things that were very clearly, like, inappropriate. And he was recording the call himself. He knew he was recording it. So he said things that were inappropriate. You know you can re-record this voice note, right? You don't have to send it with the inappropriate thing in it. It's not like you're on the phone with her. Why is nobody else thinking it's weird? There are women who are like, oh my god, this is so hot. I'm, like, so turned on. It's like, raise your standards, maybe. Even if I was loosely swayed in his favor and I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, the voice note was so icky. Like, I was listening to it and I got the ick. Even if she might be exaggerating what he did, he's still fucking weird. There's something wrong with him.
Quick question for everyone listening to the Justin Baldoni voice message with the back massager or whatever. We agree it's weird then, right? We agree that it's inappropriate. We agree it crosses a certain kind of boundary. Okay, good. Then let's cover some more ground and let's talk about some of the other super weird things that he said in that voice message. We start off right away with a little discrepancy, which a lot of people have tried to address as, oh, she was texting him first at 1:50 in the morning. That does not explain why he says, hopefully this does not wake you up. I don't know anybody who's ever texting somebody back like 10 minutes later who thinks that that person is asleep, but okay. Second of all, he says, I want to start with an apology. So there's an acknowledgement of wrongdoing. For everyone that's defending him blindly, he's never disputed any of her claims. He's only ever tried to spin them. Just be aware of that, because even right here, he starts it with an apology, with the acknowledgement that he did do something wrong. But the way that he words this whole entire next part is like textbook abuser speak. First of all, he's gonna act like, I had no idea whatever was happening was actually happening. My heart just sank. Okay. Then he's like, oh, I'm really sorry. I for sure fell short, and you worked really hard on that, and the way you framed it and how that made you feel, I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. That takes a lot of trust and vulnerability, and I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that that's how you feel and share that with me. And I'm really sorry. I effed up. That's a fail on my part. On its face, this is a fine apology, right? Like, if this was the entire voice note, this would be fine. The real weird part is in the next paragraph. And one thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I'm a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And, haha, I'm gonna F up. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I'm gonna bleep you off probably, but I will always apologize and find my way back to center. This is one thing that I can assure you of, and I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. So my thing right there, and the people who get it, you already get it, right? I don't need to explain this to you, but people who talk like this could be the most dangerous person you'll ever meet. More than likely, this person is going to get you into some kind of trouble eventually. That's just what happens. Whenever people act like they have to try and get out ahead of themselves to tell you that they're gonna F up, I don't like that. Why do you have this job then? If you're gonna F up, why are you gonna have this job? Second of all, women know when men talk to us like this, women know, by the way, what you are doing. Not all of us, but some of us know what you are doing. This is very classic, weaponized therapy male speak. And he would not be talking like this to another man. If another man brought up to him that, hey, I feel like you overstepped your boundaries, or I feel like you were inappropriate with me, or something like that, this is not what another man would tell another man, because then you would get called out for incompetence. However, when you frame yourself as like vulnerable and, oh, I'm gonna F up to a woman, you know what you're doing as a man. You know that then if she calls you out on something, you can be like, oh, see, this is why men's mental health is not taken seriously. I try to be vulnerable with you. You wouldn't say this to a man, okay? Also, find it weird that he's bringing up his wife in this scenario, as my wife will attest, as the other woman in my life will attest. This is not your wife. This is not the equivalent of your wife that you're talking to. And I feel as though a lot of people are missing that. They're like, oh, well, Blake Lively was really comfortable with him one time. She told him to come into her trailer one time while she was breastfeeding. Do y'all ever think about the fact that, like, maybe she didn't want him to come in other times precisely because of how he behaved that first time, or maybe because he took it as an open invitation, then she didn't want him in the trailer, right? But see, it's the fact that y'all are going along with that narrative of him placing Blake Lively and his wife on the same level playing field. See, that's weird to me, because why are you bringing up your wife and how you would act with your wife and the comfort level that you would feel fucking up around your wife to your coworker, your co-producer? That's weird to me. You ladies, you need to learn to clock this, okay? When men at work start putting you and their wife on the same level, there's something weird going on there. Okay, anytime that man is being too familiar with you, or just like a little bit like too comfortable, that's a good gut feeling, okay, to explore, to follow, okay? This really goes along with all of Blake's other claims that, like, he was showing her birth videos of his wife and stuff like that. It just makes me feel as though Justin Baldoni is one of those guys that thinks every woman that he works with is closer to his wife than she is to a coworker. Again, the people that get this, and the people that don't get it, I don't know what to tell you. This is a thing that men do, and maybe one day you'll experience it and you'll know how icky and gross it feels, because it feels icky and gross. It feels inappropriate, and it always catches you off guard too. They cross a bunch of boundaries and you try to address it with them, and then they start babbling all this kind of weird bullshit, and you're like, wait, this feels both like an admission of guilt and gaslighting at the same time. And it also feels overly familial, especially after the fact that you shared something that makes you uncomfortable, and the guy goes, yeah, you and my wife, you should both know that I'm gonna fuck up a lot. Do you say that to all your male colleagues, or do you just feel so comfortable saying that to a woman? Because then if she calls you out, you can say you were just trying to be vulnerable and you were just trying to be relatable, because you can do that with women. And other women are proof of this, because y'all are carrying his water for him. Another thing I really fucking hate is a motherfucker who says, oh, you know, I will fuck up, but I will admit it and apologize. Like, sir, that does nobody any good. Try not to fuck up in the first place. It seems like the kind of things you were fucking up are basic human courtesy and like co-worker treatment. Like, you failed to meet basic HR standards. And the fact that you told somebody ahead of time that you're gonna fuck up, and mind you, this isn't even ahead of time. This is like they're fully in swing working on this project together. He should have said this at the job interview, right? He should have told Blake this when he was interviewing her for the role. They should have told everybody this at casting. How many people do you think would have wanted to work with him? If he said, I'm gonna fuck up for sure, guys, but I will apologize when I do. Like, this is not professional behavior. He's just trying to gaslight a woman. This is nothing new, ladies. I don't know why you're acting like all of a sudden this has a different context. It doesn't. This is just your standard run-of-the-mill gaslighting and manipulation by a man who fucked up, and he knows that he fucked up. So he's pulling out all the stop, right, to make you feel like he didn't just fuck up real bad. So the bottom of that previous text says, that must have felt terrible and I will for sure do better. That was not my best weekend and I should have given it more time. Parts of this voicemail devolve into complete word salad, okay? So we're not going to be able to analyze every single sentence. Even with all this by itself, this is just an apology and an admission. He did whatever she said he did. He's fully acknowledging this. So again, I don't know how releasing this makes him look any less guilty, because in none of his claims that he's released has he disputed a single thing that she has claimed. That's what a lot of people are not paying attention to. They're letting him spin the story and they're just believing that story. When you look at the actual facts and when you look at the actual claims being made, Justin Baldoni is not disputing anything that Blake Lively has ever said about him. He's just saying, yes, it happened, but here's more context. So you're not denying that harassment happened. You're just trying to give the harassment context. I don't understand. This is some of that context, right? This is how they throw y'all off. People are like, he's so humble, he's so kind. No, he's admitting that he did whatever she said he did. Not only that, he's also gaslighting her about it. He's acting like it's okay and expected for him as the director to fuck up that bad on the set of a professional multi-million-dollar production. That she is also, mind you, she's not just an actress in this. She's the co-producer. She deserves a big say. Okay, she's not taking over the movie. That's her role as a producer. Next part, she apparently brought up her connections that she had. He says, and damn right, you got great friends if that's how you felt and they knew that, and bleep, we should all have friends like that, aside from the fact that they're two of the most creative people on the planet. The three of you guys together is unbelievable. Talk about energy and force, all three of you. But I just wanted you to know that I didn't mean that, because it's really good and it's going to make the movie sing, like you said, and I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you. I'm assuming he's referring to this trio of Blake, Ryan, and Taylor. But yeah, she must have brought up her connections, which prompted him to say all of this. He says, you know, I think you and I have been trying to build a relationship, which I think we've done successfully. I mean, here we are talking like this, me into my phone at 2 a.m, but largely via text and voice note. And that, I will be honest with you, that is not my biggest strength. I love being with people and being in somebody's space and being face to face, and I feel like that's where I excel. And definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges, because there's so much to communicate and there's so much happening. And all that to say, I'm just really looking forward to spending time together, and I think that's going to really go a long way for our chemistry, which I believe is there, has been there from the start. So I was so damn excited when you wanted to do this film. I felt it in the room when we met. And yeah, I think it does come from the both of us being so fucking hardworking and having a vision and not settling. And I'm excited to have a creative partner in that with you. And it's just really exciting. There's so much more to say. There's so much I want to say. This is one of those word salad parts where he's trying to appear vulnerable, but he's actually not being vulnerable. And I also think it's funny that he says, yeah, it's not really my greatest strength to communicate when there can be receipts of what I've said. I work really well in person. That's because abusers often rely on their charm in order to get them out of these sticky situations. That's why he's like, oh, I just can't wait to talk about this with you in real life. Yeah, I bet. Oh, and there's one thing that I do need to say, which is I'm so sorry you have been through what you've been through with these other filmmakers and producers, or whoever the people were that you worked with, and it just bleep me off, those bleep. I'm just still kind of blown away that this is the industry that we're in and that you've experienced that as a woman. We're gonna stop right there before we go to the next part. The fact that he's like, oh yeah, and all of your bad experiences with these filmmakers and producers or whoever, he's so dismissive in that. And oh, I'm just so blown away. This is the industry we're in. Are you? Your dad owns a PR firm. How much blown away are you really by this? Because it seems like this is something you've been around your whole life. And it seems like you know how to spin things. But okay. Now, it only gets worse from here. But that's not at all going to be or will be, hopefully it's not been, the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me like that I get to work with Blake Lively and have her. All of her. That's what I want. Is this the part y'all needed your back massager for? Because once again, this is extremely inappropriate. He would never, I guarantee you, in 100 million years, he would never say this to a male co-star, co-producer, anything like that. You do not get to have her, all of her, you weird fucking little creep. That is such a weird ass thing to say. And then for him to once again try and get out ahead of what her experience has already been is absolutely disgusting. Then he says, and so there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. I'm totally fine with that. The only reason I didn't send it today was because I was trying to implement and add your notes into my working draft, which is already like I'm all over that draft right now. So who wasn't sending who the final draft? Because I thought it was her that wasn't sending him the final draft. But now we find out that it was him that was accused of hesitating to send it. Interesting. Because again, see how easily y'all catch on? Y'all just start repeating things that he himself didn't even say. He himself has said the opposite of. It's very interesting to me. There's a whole bunch of new stars that are going to be collated pages, and I just haven't had a chance to send it to you. But there's no hesitancy. I'm happy to send it to you. I'm sorry this has happened to you before. I hope after this experience, there will be a new, I don't know, I hope it'll be healing in some way. Because that's all I want. I want this movie to be healing. I want this movie to be commercial, just like you, and affect people and touch people. And I want to walk you through my whole plan, the work that we're doing with the domestic violence partner that we found, no more, and just my vision. And I just, I know that this can be really, really special, and it's going to be special. And you're the secret sauce, and we're the secret sauce. This is great. I'm glad that they were working with a domestic violence partner. I'm glad that he had a vision. I'm glad that he thought the movie was special. Anyways, I have so much more to say. I'm gonna stop rambling because Jesus Christ, has been 6 minutes and 30 seconds, so bleep me, I'm sorry. You probably have kids all over you and a baby on your boob, and you're listening to me ramble at 2 in the morning. I hope you're feeling better, and give Ryan my love. Thank you for sending me that. It means the world to me that you trust me with your feelings and your thoughts like that, and I can't wait to spend more time with you. Okay, I'm done. Cutting myself off. Good night. In no way other than this little part right here was this an appropriate message to send to a coworker, co-star, co-producer. If you really want me to believe that you are a woman-respecting feminist, please do not bring up your co-producer's boob in the same message where you're trying to address grievances she came to you with. That is completely inappropriate. I can't even wrap my head around it. Why in what world would you ever say that? I don't know. Because in the beginning of the message, he said she thought she would be asleep and he hopes this doesn't wake her up. So now he's like, oh no, you're listening to me ramble at 2 in the morning. That's another weird, like, little power move that I don't like that he did. I don't like that. And I don't like that the power move of saying, oh, you probably have a baby on your boob. Like, I just don't, I hate that as a woman. It gives me the ick so bad, so bad. It's like he's always trying to remind her that, like, oh, you're just a woman. I don't know, again, this whole thing, it feels like he's actually trying to gaslight a romantic partner, not a business partner, not a co-producer, not a co-star, not somebody who is his senior in the acting world and everything that they're doing. That's not how you should be talking to them, talking about their boob. And also, I've been through this enough times to know that this is not just something that men do out of nowhere or that men do to make you feel comfortable. They actually do this kind of shit to make you feel uncomfortable. Give Ryan my love. Why? You're addressing a work concern that happened at work. Why are you bringing her husband into this? Weird. It means the world to me that you trust me with your feelings and thoughts like that. I hate that. Because it again dismisses her actual concern and her actual complaint as just her feelings and thoughts that she's sharing with him. That's really fucked up. This whole thing screams gaslighting to me from top to the very bottom. And this is the only part that I, like, can't take issue with. That's it. Every other part I can and will take issue with, because this sounds exactly like the kind of thing that men do to women in order to dismiss and invalidate them when they know that they very well fucked up, that they very well are in the wrong. This is how men will apologize to you. Let's be really careful, because the fact that y'all are saying that you would fantasize to this in an intimate way only strengthens the SH claims, okay? Let's be very, very, very clear. The fact that some of y'all are like, oh yeah, I would totally diddle myself to this, maybe you guys didn't think enough about that angle before y'all just started putting it out there. You should think a little harder next time, because you're only confirming what the rest of us were thinking. Also, please realize that not everybody is as desperate and as thirsty as you, and that most women do not, in fact, enjoy feeling like their co-worker is trying to send weirdly intimate voice message at 2 in the fucking morning. Please realize that not all women are as thirsty and desperate as that. And please realize that she could have actually been made uncomfortable by it, because some of y'all were made so comfortable by it, if you know what I'm saying. That was not the flex that y'all think it was. And it makes me even more disappointed in and grossed out by y'all. But Godspeed, I guess. Stay safe out there, everyone. A lot of weirdos out right now.